Welcome to another edition of Northshore Review.
Great to be digging in again.
So, you know the drill here. Our mission, fundamentally, is taking your source material. It can be articles, research papers, maybe even your own notes.
Whatever you bring to the table.
Exactly. And we sift through it, we dig deep, and we pull out what we think are the absolute most valuable insights.
Kind of like a shortcut to getting really informed on the topic quickly and thoroughly.
That's the idea. Save you time, get you the core info, maybe uncover a few surprises too.
And we try to make it engaging, not just a dry summary.
Definitely. So today, we are jumping into a topic that, well, let's be honest, a lot of people dread it. Buying a car.
Yeah, it doesn't usually top people's list of fun weekend activities.
Not usually. But we're tackling it through a really interesting lens. We're looking at it via someone who spent decades, like deep inside the traditional car industry.
Right.
Before deciding, nope, there has to be a better way, a completely different way.
And our main source for this is an interview with Billy Dickerson. He runs a place called Northlake Auto down in Mandeville.
Yeah, and his story gives this unique perspective on why car buying can be so frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
And what a genuinely customer-focused approach might actually look like in practice.
So expect some insights into those maybe not so great industry practices.
Oh, yeah.
And then a look at how someone's trying to completely flip that script.
Okay, let's dive in. Where do we start? His background.
Yeah, let's start with Billy's origin story because it's definitely not what you'd expect for a car dealer.
Not at all. He was actually in the Marines, right, until 99.
That's right. And then he got an associate's degree in criminal justice, planned to go into law enforcement.
But it didn't pan out.
Couldn't find a job in that field when he got out, so bit of a pivot needed.
Okay, so how does that lead to car sales?
Well, interestingly, back in the Marines, he did some public speaking for their education office. And he discovered he actually really enjoyed dealing with the public, interacting with people.
So that public-facing part clicked for him.
Exactly. So law enforcement was off the table. He needed a job. He looked around Tupelo, Mississippi, saw the car business paid better than, say, local factory jobs.
Makes sense.
And in 2000, he just walked into a dealership, Horace Sheffield, with absolutely zero car sales experience.
Wow, zero experience. How'd that go?
Get this. Within 6 months, he was their top salesperson.
No way. 6 months. From zero.
Yep. So that kind of meteoric success pretty much sealed the deal. He figured, okay, this is the career path.
Yeah, I guess so. And fast forward, the interview we're drawing from was June 2025, and by then he'd been in the business.
25 years. A whole quarter century.
25 years watching it all change. So after all that time, what made him decide to break away and start his own thing?
Well, the source material makes it pretty clear. Deep frustration with the big traditional dealerships. He felt they were just laser focused on their own bottom line, you know?
Right, the profit margin above all else.
Exactly. And often that came at the expense of what was actually good for the customer. He makes this really important distinction. It's not just about selling a car, any car.
It's about selling the right car for that specific person's needs and budget.
Precisely. And that frustration seems to be the real driving force behind Northlake Auto.
So his mission was basically fix car buying.
Pretty much. He says his goal was to put the customer first and, his words, remove everything that people hate about the car business.
That's a tall order.
It is. But there's also a personal angle to why he set up shop in Mandeville.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was partly about being closer to his family. His wife and daughter live in Covington, which is only like 20 minutes away.
Okay. And he contrasts that with the big dealer culture.
He does. He mentions how in those environments, family time often takes a back seat. He even uses that old Marine saying,
No.
If we'd wanted you to have a family, we would have issued you one. So being able to run his own place allows him to actually attend his daughter's school events, things like that. Putting family first seems tied into his whole business philosophy.
It sounds like prioritizing people, family, customers. It's all part of the same mindset shift for him.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
So over those 25 years, what does he pinpoint as the absolute biggest change in the car industry landscape?
One word.
Internet.
No surprise there, I guess.
Not really, but the way he describes it before is pretty striking. Back in 2000, cars were in the newspaper classifieds.
Wow, newspaper ads. Feels ancient.
Right, and if you wanted to shop, you literally had to drive your car from one dealer lot to the next, or maybe call them up.
So much legwork.
Totally. The internet existed, sure, but dealerships weren't really using it for sales back then.
And now? Completely different world.
Night and day. Now, your competition isn't just the dealer across town. It could be someone 500 miles away.
Because people will travel if the deal is right online. Exactly. You, the customer, you've got cars.com, CarGurus, Auto Trader, all these tools right there on your phone.
In the palm of your hand, as he put it.
Right. And that puts enormous pressure on dealers to price competitively online. If your price isn't sharp, you just won't get the clicks, you won't get the leads.
So the internet forced a level of transparency, or at least price competition, that just wasn't there before.
Absolutely. It fundamentally shifted the power dynamic.
Okay, so that's the backdrop.
Yeah.
How is Northlake Auto, his dealership, actually trying to be different in practice?
Well, first off, they specialize in pre-owned vehicles. He mentions getting a new car franchise is incredibly difficult, almost impossible for an independent starter.
Right, so used cars it is.
Yeah.
But he has a specific standard for what he sells.
He does. This is key. He focuses on finding vehicles that are still eligible for extended coverage, like a warranty, even if they have higher mileage, say around 80,000 miles.
Why that focus?
It goes back to that customer-first idea. He wants to give you the option to protect yourself against those potentially huge repair bills down the line. He mentions like a transmission replacement costing anywhere from $2,000 to over $8,000.
Yeah, nobody wants that surprise.
Right. So he tries to build in that potential protection.
And he prices the cars differently because of that.
That's what he says. He prices the car itself in a way that leaves room in your budget to actually afford that warranty if you choose to get it.
Okay, how's that different from the usual way?
He contrasts this with dealers who try to maximize their profit on the car sale first.
Gotcha.
And then they hit you with a really expensive warranty offer as an add-on.
Which might push you over budget or make you skip the warranty altogether.
Exactly, leaving you exposed if something major breaks. His goal seems to be making protection part of the core value proposition, not just an afterthought upsell.
Makes sense. What else is he doing differently? Trying to avoid those dreaded dealer games.
Oh, yeah. He specifically mentions avoiding those psychological games, like making you wait around for hours and hours.
The waiting game. Hoping you'll just cave from exhaustion.
Right. He says he's focused on cutting out all those tactics that are designed purely to benefit the dealership, not you.
And leveraging the fact that they're pre-owned vehicles seems part of the strategy, too.
Absolutely. The biggest advantage of buying used? The savings.
Depreciation, right. The first owner takes the biggest hit.
Exactly. He gives an example. Maybe a 2024 or 2025 BMW, barely used, maybe 15,000 miles. It might cost $55K new.
Okay.
He might be able to sell that same car, lightly used, in the $30,000 range. Huge difference.
Because that initial big drop in value already happened.
Right, and his business structure helps make those prices possible.
Yeah.
He points out the massive overhead the big franchise dealers carry.
Like what?
Huge advertising budgets, fancy showrooms on expensive land, big teams of commissioned salespeople.
Gotcha. All those costs have to be covered somehow.
And usually it's covered in the price of the car you buy. He argues his total operational cost is much, much lower.
Which, in theory, allows him to pass savings on to the customer.
That's the claim. And another critical piece, his sales staff aren't on commission.
Oh, that is different.
Yeah.
So they get paid the same whether they sell a car or not.
Basically, yeah. They make a good living, as he puts it, regardless of their individual sales numbers that much.
That changes everything, doesn't it? The incentive structure.
Completely. It takes the pressure off you, the buyer. But more importantly, it means the salesperson's goal isn't just to sell you any car or the most expensive car.
Their goal can actually be helping you find the right car for your needs.
Exactly. Their interests are aligned with yours, not directly tied to the profit on that single transaction. He says it's built into the model.
Okay, so non-commissioned staff. What about the actual pricing of the cars on the lot? How does he set those numbers?
He uses a market-based approach. Think CarMax or Carvana.
So based on what similar cars are selling for elsewhere.
Right. He prices them online based on what the market says they should sell for, not just adding a fixed markup over what he paid for them.
Aiming for market or even under market value, he said.
Yeah, that's his goal. And he's apparently pretty transparent about how he gets to that value.
Oh, so?
He mentions using the NAD guide, which is now owned by J.D. Power. It's a standard industry tool. Banks use it.
Okay.
And he claims that most of his inventory is actually priced at or even below the wholesale value listed in that guide.
Whoa, wait. Below wholesale? Like what dealers pay each other?
That's what he's suggesting, essentially letting you buy wholesale without a dealer's license, for the most part.
That's a bold claim.
It is. He does add a small caveat, might be rare exceptions for super high demand, hard to get cars, but generally that's the pricing philosophy.
And tied into all this, he seems really big on those extended warranties we mentioned.
Very much so. He strongly advises customers to get one. His reasoning is pretty blunt.
Which is?
Every vehicle on every lot in America is going to break.
Huh. Well, he's not wrong, eventually.
Right. It's inevitable. So it's about managing that risk. He contrasts the cost, maybe a $50 or $100 deductible for a repair under warranty,
versus potentially thousands of dollars out of pocket if you don't have one and something major fails.
Exactly. It's presented as a smart way to budget for future unavoidable repair.
So boiling it all down, what's the feeling he wants you to have when you drive off his lot?
He wants you to feel it was the easiest and best car buying experience you've ever had. Simple as that.
Because that positive feeling leads to
referrals, word of mouth, people telling their friends and family, hey, this place is different.
He mentioned being inspired by someone. Jesse Cole.
Yeah, from the Savannah Bananas, that wacky baseball team.
Right. What was the quote?
Something like, if you eliminate everything that someone hates about something, then you will become a millionaire.
And he's trying to apply that exact thinking to the car business. Eliminate all the stuff people hate.
Seems like it. Trying to change the whole perception. Buying a car is usually the second biggest purchase you make after a house.
Yeah.
It should be exciting, right? Not something you dread or feel like you have to steel yourself for.
Absolutely. There was one story he told, though, that sounded like it really crystallized this whole philosophy for him, a real turning point.
Yeah, a pretty tough one. It happened at a previous dealership he worked at. He didn't name it for obvious reasons.
Okay, what happened?
Involved a young woman, maybe around 20 years old, buying her very first car.
Oh, wow. Big moment for her.
Huge. And she'd saved up her own cash for the down payment. The dealership owner sold her a used Jeep Patriot.
Okay.
Even though Billy knew the car had issues, suspension problems, other things, he'd actually told the owner they should just send it to a wholesale auction, not sell it to a customer.
But the owner sold it to her anyway.
Yep. And within a week,
oh, no.
the car basically fell apart. Wasn't drivable.
For a 20-year-old's first car she saved up for. That's awful.
It's just devastating. So Billy went to the owner, said, look, we got to do the right thing here. Give her money back, find her a decent car.
Seems like the only decent thing to do. What did the owner say?
This is the gut punch. The owner told Billy to tell the young woman, sorry, you bought a car. There's nothing I can do.
What?
And then threatened Billy's job if he didn't deliver that exact message.
Wow. That's incredibly callous.
Right. And Billy said that single experience just completely changed his whole outlook on the business. His entire philosophy shifted.
I could imagine seeing that firsthand. So how did that change manifest?
Well, after that, whenever he interviewed for jobs at other dealerships, he started asking them a question.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
He'd ask, hypothetically, if a customer buys a car and it breaks down a week later, what do you do?
Testing their ethics.
Exactly. And if their answer wasn't basically, we make it right for the customer, he wouldn't take the job.
He drew a line in the sand.
He did. And eventually, realizing how many places wouldn't commit to that, it pushed him toward thinking, the only way to guarantee this is done right is to do it myself.
Which led to Northlake Auto. Makes perfect sense now. So building on that, how does he try to cultivate loyalty and get people to come back?
His strategy sounds incredibly simple, almost deceptively so.
Let me guess. Treat them right.
You got it. He literally says he treats every customer the way he'd want his own mother or his daughter treated.
That's a pretty high bar.
It is. It's about building that trust, that relationship. He knows people might find him online first.
Right, through those competitive prices.
But it's the actual experience they have when they interact with him and his team that brings them back or makes them tell their friends, you got to check this place out.
So word of mouth is really the engine here.
Seems like it's absolutely crucial, especially early on, powered by just, treating people decently. Like family?
But starting any new business is tough, especially one trying to buck the industry norms. What challenges was he facing when this interview happened?
Well, timing is key here. The Mandeville location was really new, opened mid-April 2025, and the interview was early June.
Oh, wow. So less than 2 months old at that point, very early days.
Exactly. So the challenges were pretty typical for a brand new venture. His website, being new, wasn't ranking high in Google searches yet.
which means less online traffic finding him organically.
Right. And he's competing against huge dealerships who can afford to pay premium placement on sites like CarGurus Auto Trader.
So their cars show up first, even if his are priced better.
Potentially, yeah. His listings really have to rely on the price itself being compelling enough to catch someone's eye further down the page.
And advertising budget must be tight initially.
For sure. He mentioned budget limits his ability to advertise everywhere he'd like, so he's really leaning heavily on that word of mouth to get things going.
Makes sense. So looking back over that whole 25-year journey, if he could go back, what does he wish he'd known sooner?
He wishes he'd truly understood just how cutthroat the industry can be. Specifically, he points to how some dealers would, in his words, mess over their employees.
Okay. How does that connect to the customer?
Because, his logic follows, if a dealer isn't treating their own staff right, how likely are they to truly prioritize treating the customer right? It sets a tone.
That's a really interesting point. Treat employees badly, they're less invested in treating customers well.
Seems to be his take. And he says if he'd grasped that reality earlier, he would have started his own dealership years ago. He specifically said 19 years ago.
Wow. So basically, almost 2 decades earlier, he wishes he'd gone independent. That's telling.
It really is.
Okay, so what's the vision now? Looking ahead, say 3 to 5 years for Northlake Auto.
The main goal, become the go-to place for pre-owned cars in that whole region. Mandeville, Covington, Hammond, Slidell, even drawing from New Orleans and Baton Rouge.
He wants to be top of mind.
Exactly. He wants people to hear the name, know they do things differently, and know they'll leave happy.
And longer term, beyond 5 years.
Ambitions are bigger, expanding, multiple locations, becoming a major player, first in Louisiana, then maybe the Southeast, maybe even nationally.
Aiming high. Does he see any other trends emerging in how people shop now?
Yeah, he mentioned one interesting shift in online search behavior.
What's that?
People are getting way more specific in their searches. It's less browsing used SUVs near me and more like
searching 2024 BMW X1 near Mandeville.
Exactly. Super specific make, model, year, and location. So his focus has to be on making sure his specific inventory shows up for those specific searches.
Targeted visibility. Makes sense.
Shifting gears a bit from the business, did he talk about life outside the dealership?
Yeah, a little. He mentioned he enjoys taking his daughter fishing.
Nice.
And apparently, she sometimes catches bigger fish than he does.
Huh. Classic. Anything else?
He plays golf with friends, admits he's not very good anymore, but enjoys it. Oh, and a local food recommendation.
Always good to have. What did he suggest?
A place called George's. Mexican food. Said the fajitas are awesome. Good tip for anyone near Mandeville. Okay, let's bring it back to the business philosophy. If you had to boil down the entire Northlake Auto brand, his approach, into just, say, 3 words.
He actually offered that himself, his 3 words, make people happen.
Make people happy. That's it.
That's it. He genuinely seems to believe that if you focus solely on making the customer happy, truly happy with the process and the outcome,
everything else takes care of itself.
That's the quote. It ties right back to that Jesse Cole idea. Eliminate the negatives, focus on the positive experience.
And that philosophy seems to extend really powerfully into one specific, often painful part of the process, the trade-in.
Oh, yeah. The trade-in appraisal. That's where so many people feel like they get taken advantage of.
Absolutely. Lowball offers, confusing numbers.
Right. He points out how some dealers will cherry pick the worst data points to convince you your car is worth way less than it really is.
So how does he do it differently? This sounds crucial.
It's honestly pretty radical for the car business. He lets you, the customer, help appraise your own car.
Wait, seriously? You participate in valuing your trade-in?
Yes. He says he'll sit down with you, shoulder to shoulder, and show you the exact tools he uses.
Like the NADA guide, auction reports.
Exactly. The same data he's looking at. And then you talk through the car's condition together, any dents, paint scratches, mechanical issues, you factor those in collaboratively.
So you're not just presented with a number, you're part of the process of arriving at it.
Precisely. The goal is to agree on a value together based on the shared information.
That level of transparency. I called it unheard of, right?
Pretty much. In an area where dealers usually hold all the cards close to their chest, he's laying them out on the table.
That's fascinating. He even suggested people could just come get an appraisal from him transparently, even if they buy somewhere else.
Yeah, as a way to just experience that difference, build some goodwill, show confidence in his fair process.
It's a powerful statement about transparency.
It really is. And speaking of helping people, even if they don't buy from him, He made a pretty amazing offer to you, our listeners.
Oh, yeah. Tell us about that.
He basically said, look, even if I don't have the exact car you want on my lot, call me anyway. I'll act as a consultant.
A consultant? How?
He'll help you navigate buying that car somewhere else. He'll advise you on what's a fair price for an extended warranty from that dealer or for gap insurance. Basically, use his insider knowledge to help you not get messed over, as he put it, even when buying from a competitor.
Wow. That's incredibly generous. Why would he do that?
His reasoning. Helping people builds trust. Maybe you don't buy from him today, but you'll remember he helped you. Maybe he'll come back next time. Maybe you'll tell your friends.
No.
It's a long-term relationship play.
Playing the long game based on goodwill. Where can people find him again?
The dealership is Northlake Auto, 1937 Florida Street in Mandeville.
And the website?
NorthlakeAutoMandeville.com. That's NorthlakeAutoMandeville.com.
And there was a special offer tied to this deep dive.
Yes. For listeners who mentioned finding them through this deep dive, he's offering free oil changes through the end of 2025.
Free oil changes for mentioning us.
Nice. Yeah, he did add a little disclaimer. That offer might evolve as the show grows, but for now, it's a great incentive to check them out.
Definitely a tangible way to experience their service firsthand. Okay, so let's try and summarize the big takeaways from digging into Billy Dickerson's story and approach.
Well, we clearly saw how the internet just completely revolutionized the car business, shifting power towards the consumer, forcing more price competition.
Right, and we got a pretty stark look from an insider at some of those frustrating game-playing tactics that make traditional car buying so unpleasant for many people.
But the flip side is seeing the potential for a totally different model, one built on radical transparency.
Like involving the customer in the trade-in appraisal.
Eliminating pain points like commission sales and long waits, and fundamentally just focusing on making the customer happy.
It really makes you think about how ingrained that old model is, the one focused purely on maximizing profit on this transaction right now.
Exactly. And how Billy's approach represents a shift towards prioritizing the customer's long-term satisfaction, their financial well-being, building trust, believing that will lead to success over time.
That transparency piece feels huge.
Yeah.
In such a complex, high-value transaction like buying a car, knowing you're seeing the real numbers, understanding the process, that's powerful.
Definitely.
So think about your own experiences buying a car. What were the moments that made you cringe? What parts felt unfair or confusing?
And then imagine an experience designed specifically to eliminate those things. How would that feel? Would that change how you approach looking for your next car?
Yeah. And here's maybe a final provocative thought to chew on. If a business in any industry that's known for frustrating customers, think airlines, cable companies, maybe even healthcare sometimes, if a business truly built its entire model around finding everything customers hate and just eliminated it, and focused only on making people happy, how disruptive could that actually be?
It's a compelling question. What real power does that kind of radical transparency and customer focus give back to you as the consumer, not just in buying a car, but anywhere you spend your money?
Something to think about. Again, you can find Northlake Auto at 1937 Florida Street in Mandeville or online at NorthlakeAutoMandeville.com.
And don't forget that oil change offer if you mention this deep dive.
Keep digging. Keep seeking out understanding.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive.